Good evening. It is Tuesday, October 21st, 2025, 6:04. I call the DeKalb Township Board of Trustees meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Trustee Thurman. Trustee McLaughlin.
Here.
Trustee Ager. Trustee Bradlaugh.
Here.
Assessor Dyer.
Here.
Highway Commissioner Smith.
Here.
Supervisor Hess.
Here.
And Clerk Fratano. I'm here. Cool.
So we have three, we have a quorum, so we will continue. We can stand for the pledge, please. And if our guest would like to lead us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay. Can I get a motion to approve the agenda, please?
A motion.
Second. Okay. Discussion, anyone wish to make any changes? I do just want to point out that the packet that was sent out had the October Road District expenditure report. And those have since been updated, and so that's what's being passed around, and those were emailed to you so that you have those as well. So with that, all in favor of the agenda with that minor change, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone abstain or vote no? Okay. Next is presentations. So tonight we have the Road District giving an overview of their department and the things that they carry out. So hand it over to you, Highway Commissioner.
Yeah, I will, so of the three full-time employees that I have, two of which could not show up today or tonight, so, but I am gonna introduce Jeff Harness, that's been with the Road District now 11 years. So, and I think his anniversary date is September 15th. I know the dates, I always forget the years. So I'll just turn it over to Jeff for a few minutes and he can kind of give you a rundown what he does here and who he is and stuff of that nature. So if you don't mind, Jeff.
I'm Jeff Harness and I'm married to my wife Sue. I have two adult children. I was told to say all this. I have grandchildren. Craig says I have 200. The long-standing joke in our road district, my daughter's pregnant with her fifth.
Okay.
So she's trying to, and she lives in a rural county, so she's trying to repopulate the county. I'm a longtime resident of DeKalb and a former Boy Scout leader in Troop 4 in town. I've been working here since 2014. I'm second in command when Craig's when I'm in charge, when Craig's not on site or here for the day. I'm the main equipment mover because only Craig and I have what we call a Class A CDL, so we can move the larger equipment. I plow the north route. Most of the roads I plow are the most heavily traveled and largest in width. We all do pretty much everything for the road district every day. Whatever Craig said a line to me one time is whatever's necessary for the success of the road district. And that's pretty much what I do.
There was one more line, but he chose not to say.
I like my job.
But you also mow the cemeteries and the ditches.
Once in a while, yes, we have some seasonal help that comes in and mows our cemeteries now, but I've done a lot of the mowing, yes. Mowing ditches, yes, I've done over the years, but since we've gotten a heavier projects, I don't get to mow a lot of the ditches. We're involved a lot of the more heavy projects we got to finish. More things that have to be completed.
So, and just to kind of, which, you know, Jeff won't take this well, but Jeff's my go-to for pretty much anything. Myself and Jeff are on call pretty much 365 days a year. We trade off. We communicate almost 7 days a week, a lot on the weekends. You know, if I'm out of town, he's in town. If he's out of town, you know, I mean, it just goes back and forth. So it's probably different from my position than any others here, is that I have to make sure before I leave that there is someone here and able to go 24 hours a day. So that's kind of it. Jeff's the guy he's here first thing in the morning. I mean, I really just, can't talk highly enough about him, that he's here every day. He doesn't even take all the vacation time that he gets annually, which irritates me to no end, but, just because I think you've deserved it and earned it, so you should use it. But that's how dedicated that the guys are. All my employees really are for me, so, that's all I can say about that, and I greatly appreciate what they do for us, so. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
You're not gonna go over what Karen does?
Oh, I'm gonna have Karen and Jamie both, the other two full-time, come in probably in November and December there. Karen has been here, she originally was hired, to work for all three departments. And then, ended up just wanting to come to work for me, and just saves my day most every day, but, and I'll let her come in and explain, cause I don't even know what all she does, but it makes things work. I do know, but the list, I can go on and on, and, Karen's, she is, her dog is drastically ill, and it's just her and her dog now, so, that's why she has to be at home tonight. It had to have a procedure done this morning, so she couldn't leave it and be here tonight. So we're hoping that the dog's better. I'm hoping the dog's better. And that next month she'll be able to come in and because I think it's great that you guys, I can say all these names and what we do and everything, but not knowing who they are, I think it makes it very difficult. So I think it's a lot better if you actually get to meet the people, similar to what Mary did. I just can't seem to corral them all in one outing, so but we'll just kind of go with that, and I think it'd be better that you hear it from them. So the last line that he couldn't say is on this piece of paper that I gave him some notes on. It just says, "My boss is an asshole." And he is most days, so.
And I know Karen is very much the gatekeeper and takes all the phone calls.
All the phone calls.
You're on the road so much and
Yeah,
meets with all the people that come
She
in.
schedules me, she tracks all the hours of all the employees, tracks all the time. Now with vacation and sick leave and the paid leave act, she keeps all that separately, updates them every month on that, we're all men back there, so we're all kind of stupid. I will say, so it's if we aren't told, it's just easier that way. She also, in the way we pay our bills, she receives everything and then checks the budget and the financials to make sure where we're at. I approve them, then they go to Jody, which is a part-time employee that actually cuts the checks before Mary signs the check. So it's all these layers to make sure that that is a valid, that we're not issuing a faulty check or one from the wrong fund. Then, and it really, that little system we have going has really worked out well. And it allows me to do what I do better, and that's road stuff and out there where I belong, so.
Some very good checks and balances and from, my dealings with the cemetery, your staff, and I've seen Jeff out there mowing, very courteous, very conscientious, very careful around the stones, and they do a great job.
Yeah, I think so, so.
Yeah. Over there today doing great work. That be it?
Yeah.
Okay, nice. Hi, Greg.
Hello.
Hello. Do I need?
6:11 is when he arrived. So you'll put that in the minutes.
Yes, definitely.
Well, when you joined the meeting, that's good to reflect why you weren't in roll call. Okay, so next public comments. Any members of the public wish to speak? Okay.
No, thank you.
Okay, moving into reports, supervisors report. In your board packet every month, you have the report for general and emergency assistance. So you see that our numbers for GA dropped off, or intakes dropped down a little bit, which was surprising. But for the most part, it's pretty consistent. Starting to get more calls for senior utility assistance. And we expect that to continue. So just keeping you updated and if the government shutdown continues and SNAP gets discontinued, or there's any changes that impact housing, then we are readying ourselves for that. Other things, just a little bit of an update, what's happened since the last meeting. So on November or September 20th, we had our tire recycling, and Craig and Jeff were both there to help with that, as well as Kim and a couple of members of the public volunteered. So we served 66 households, but that was equal to filling up 4 dumpsters of tires. So there were a couple of cars that came through that had more than 6. We told them no. We, limited it to 6. We had some very large tractor tires, and, small.
Lawnmower, bicycle
Lawnmower.
tires.
So a little bit of everything. Everyone was very appreciative. I think we only we did check IDs, and we only had to turn a couple people away for not living in the township. So overall, very, very positive event. We did the fair housing presentation, and so that was offered in person and by Zoom. And we had, I believe it was 41 participants between the two. So that covered, landlords can't discriminate based on the source of income that you have. So if someone has a housing voucher, they can't be turned away just because of the housing voucher. And so we had quite a few property owners that came in person. So it was very good conversation, and we will probably be doing that again. On October 4th, we had the shred event where we served 157 households. And if you saw the Facebook post, we had some members of the DeKalb High School varsity football team show up to volunteer. So that was nice to have them involved. On the 8th, we had iCash, so that's the treasurer's office. And CUB here, CUB is Citizens Utility Board. We served 19 people at that event, so it was a little bit less than we anticipated, but close to $20,000 was recovered from just those 19 people that came in. One person, through working with iCash in the treasurer's office, discovered that she had $18,000 in her name.
Wow.
So yeah, we're happy for that person. I wish it was me, but it wasn't. And then last week, Tiffany and I attended the SIMS conference. So SIMS stands for Cemetery Information Management Software. That is the cloud-based software that we used. Joan did all the data entry before she became clerk of all of the burials at the 2 cemeteries. And so now that that's done, we are going to be taking it online so that when people are doing genealogy research and that, they can just go in and see what, they're looking for someone. And I haven't explored the online, what it looks like. So, but I expect that people would be able to see what's available if they wanted to purchase plots at the cemetery. Preparations are underway for our 175th celebration. So you have your invitations in front of you. As a reminder, that's on November 20th. Kim spent the day over at the DeKalb County History Center. It was today that we discovered that, so we have board books that go back to 1990, that some of them before that are over at the History Center. As well as a variety of other documents that the historian there was bringing out to her, stuff about the cemeteries. And so I don't even know everything that she learned, but we're trying to gather as much information as possible to be able to present that for our 175th. And then she's making Facebook posts and stuff about that. And then we have some exciting updates for the cemetery. So we got the final drawings for Peace Park. The documents have been submitted to the city, so we're waiting for the permit to be approved. And today, Craig and his guys started doing some tree removal around the perimeter of what's going to be Peace Park, based on the recommendations that came from the engineering firm. So because of the time of the year, it's being recommended that we don't start construction until the spring. So this will allow us some time to clear out a lot of the dead stuff over there and get it cleaned up. And then now that we have the final drawings, we can see the number of trees we're gonna have to start creating kind of the fundraising campaign, so to speak. So if people want to purchase trees in memory of someone, there's gonna be a butterfly garden, there'll be benches, and so there'll be opportunities, paving bricks, opportunities for people to make a contribution in memory of someone. And that will help offset the costs of the construction of the project.
Oh, sorry. Did you see the grant? For the cemeteries?
Yes, so that is for cemeteries. It's not for construction of new things. It's for cemeteries that are in disrepair
Or still just
and
maintaining?
neglected. And so our cemeteries don't really fall into that.
No, I know, I read it, I just thought there'd be a couple ways around it, but
We can certainly apply.
are you already members of like sam.gov and all that
Mm.
stuff? Okay, yeah, so I guess it'd be just, if it's worth your time, cause I
Yeah.
know that is a little bit of a headache and just very time consuming to register for all of that, but it's like $1.5 million that they're giving away and a cap at $20,000. So I feel like you'd have a pretty decent shot,
Yeah.
depending on how many people applied, but yeah, it would be a lot of time to do
Yeah,
it also.
yeah. And does it have to, do you remember, does it have to be government-owned cemeteries? Or can it be,
No, I
private.
don't.
I think
I don't know. I can look it up though.
I've seen it.
I think it's government-owned, so I bet a lot of townships won't go to the trouble of.
I would think so.
I would apply.
Yeah.
And I would take the chance.
I would be happy to help or just give my insight on dealing
Or
with
have you-
grants through the state of, yeah,
You've done that? Oh,
Yeah.
I would appreciate your help.
so.
Well, let's find a time. to do it.
I know, but they're real picky and I'd rather, I'd be happy to. help.
I'd love that. Yeah.
Well, there's been some damages to some of the stones, and so,
Well, the stones that aren't, the restoration that we paid for, we might help to get to offset that
yeah,
cost.
or to continue in
Yep.
the future.
Right, and if it's matching, but we're clearly matching
Yes.
already, so.
Okay, we'll find time to.
Okay.
And then the columbarium, we are in the final stages of that, so. But that will have to go out to bid because that'll be over $30,000. So all very exciting stuff. If anyone wants to look at the plans, I can pass them on. So that's all I have. Any questions? Clerk's report?
The trustees have in front of them, and Mary, a sticker, as we renewed our dues, so we are officials, members of the Township Officials of Illinois. So you can put this in your car.
Can't wait.
Yes, we'll have a little ceremony. And then I wanted to remind everybody that the conference is coming up. If you really, really want to go, it's not too late. You can still get registered. Mary and I are going. Are you going, Craig?
Yes.
Yeah. How about you?
I can. This is my busy time of the year. I try to go as much as I can, but
And I have the agenda now, so if you want to look that over before you make a decision, you can. So it is in Springfield, so it's very busy, tight schedules. It is packed. I'm very much looking forward to connecting with other clerks and learning more. But they've also opened up a virtual conference, so I know you guys have kids, so you can register for that and participate and get some information. So let Mary know if you're interested. and doing that. You do have to have an internet connection to do the Zoom conference, so.
But there's only a couple sessions that are.
Yeah. Not the whole thing,
Yeah.
just a few sessions, but it'll give you a feel for it. And I'll have a report for you. When I get back from conference. That's all.
Yes, I do, yeah.
Is it always in Springfield?
Well,
Maybe the escalator will
this
work this year.
year, this year and next, and then there's a lot of talk of moving it. It'll always be either Peoria,
Illinois.
Springfield, yeah.
Right, highway commissioners report?
I will, because I had,
If it goes to
can you
bid,
pass one to, and
if they put a thing out for it to go to bid, will you pass that along?
I'm working right now to get the toy pack golf outing to DeKalb. And which is.
Oh, okay,
So, yes, I will.
yeah, cause I know you're very respected.
I don't know if respecting is the right
I
way,
think
but
so, I think that we could get it here,
yeah, it's,
Catherine could help sell it.
yeah, I guess.
I can set you up with the right people, I know that.
Okay.
I, getting it this
I feel
far
like it'd be
north,
better if I was at the conference, but next year.
getting it this far north, I will just say would be
Large tent.
a large, very
Yeah,
large. And because they think everything is 30% more of it. And I actually had a meeting with the park director, and I know I'm getting off script, and I brought that up to him. And he said, let me know what price they get. And I said, well, I already told him that we would be haggling over that. So yeah, that is my goal, to get more up here, because the majority of the people at the seminar, I think you would say, are a lot more from up this way. But I think it should move around the whole state.
Yeah, I agree.
So, and just to get back on track with my list of things. So the building, the new building that's going up is they have 3 of the walls up, and the structure is standing now. It's quite large compared to what was there before, which was nothing. So it is, it's coming right along, and I'm happy about that. So the paving in the back parking lot will be on Halloween on the 31st to kind of finish up from the construction. And then it'll be just interior work. And I'll get some of my parking lot back. As you can see, I have things kind of parked all over the place right now around here, including the front. So, and then they're starting their draws out on the building. Next month, I will have a more detailed list of kind of where we are percentage wise, how much we paid internally and how much we paid as we've got a construction loan right now. And, to kind of pay for what, of course, we won't be able to afford to do internally for the building. So moving on, we have one more road to pave. We've had this extremely difficult time dealing with the railroad. Whenever you pave or do any road work within the railroad right of way, if you want to enter into that right of way, you have to get permission through the federal government, through the railroad itself. So we request, and you have to have special insurance to do that work. So Kern was the paving contractor that got that project, which is Gurla Road just to our south, but been able to pave up to the railroad. They've been working since last April with the railroad to get this permission. They have the proper insurance. They cannot get a reply from the railroad. So me and all my patients had waited long enough, so I said, just pave, stay on the right of way, and we'll just stop it there. The roughest part of that road is that railroad crossing. So they're not gonna get this free work. So that actually starts on Thursday. It's a lot later than I normally will pave roads, but it's something that, to stay on my timeline, and it's not too late, but it's as late as I'd like to go with the temperatures. So that'll be done here in the next few weeks. The portion of Nelson Road that we widened and did is, completely finished for this year. And then all our internal driveway culverts and stuff, we pretty much, if we have a mild late fall, early winter, we might start on some of that stuff, extending Nelson Road, farther south. Just do preliminary work yet this year if the weather holds out for us. And then on the other, as we rotate out our trucks on a 10-year plan, my 2014 truck, we sold to Franklin Township, which is the very northwest corner of DeKalb County around the Kirkland area. And they just, the way we sell those to the townships that really can't afford even these used trucks, is we set up an IGA and allow them to pay us over 2 or 3 years' time. And I've done that, I think a total of 4 or 5 times with different trucks. So this is the last payment for Franklin Township on that truck, because the used trucks, I think that truck was $155,000 to them as a 10-year-old truck. So it's a way to kind of help them out, and it benefits us. So we're not taking that big chunk of money in all in 1 year. Because you can't, under Illinois law, you can't carry a big chunk over annually, you have to expend that out. So it's actually easier for me to take it in smaller pieces over a 3 or 4 year period. So because you can actually be forced to give that money back to the taxpayers if you carry that money over outside of your fiscal year. So that's why I've kind of set that up. And it really works out best for everybody. The other thing is we just got our salt pricing. So the way salt is purchased through the state of Illinois, or the way we purchase it through the state of Illinois, is we turn in an amount we want in April. I turned it in last April. We don't get our pricing until about 2 weeks ago, in order to budget for this winter. So on the back, it will show, and we highlighted ours. And it kind of shows, and what it does is, because this spreadsheet is that I get is like, I don't know, it's got to be 12 pages, and it's everybody all over the state of Illinois. So you'll see just above us, it'll say DeKalb County Highway Department and all these lines. Most of these, like if you go all the way to the top, that's Afton Township. They buy their salt through the county, DeKalb County. But even though the salt's delivered to them, we have chosen here to just go directly to the state of Illinois. It kind of eliminates that middle person, and you don't get put on a list when you order salt. And I can get my salt quicker, and it's just easier for me to control it that way. So, and then
Price is less.
and then I was getting to
Oh,
that.
sorry.
So
Still expensive.
so, and that's the real goal. So if you go all the way over, price per ton, you will go down, and I am the cheapest on the list. That is not always the case.
Is that because you buy from the state?
We have yet to figure that out
Oh.
exactly why. I think it's the proximity to the tollway and the access point to here. But like the city of DeKalb is right below us. That's the city. And they're, what, 97 cents more. The DeKalb County Highway Department is on here.
Same price.
And yeah, and you can see right next to it to the left is how many tons of salt. So the city of DeKalb ordered 3,200 tons, where I only ordered 400. So it's not even a quantity based. And it used to be everybody paid the same in the tight knit area. But now it's even been broke up where they're not even giving it all to the same company statewide. There's really 3 large companies: Compass, Cargill. I can't think of the other name. Compass and Cargill have been the ones that get it here. But you'll see,
Yeah, South Grove, geez.
yeah, like South Grove Township, they're paying, 96. Salt rate has ranged in my time here, everything. I've paid as low as $46 a ton. I paid as much as 105. And which is, when I budget, it's a fun treat to figure that out, because you just don't know until this time of year. So that's it. That kind of shows you a little more light into what we do, and that to me this year with the mild winters, salt's gonna be down a little bit, and I'm happy with that, so. What we don't have, and I can look it up, is what the tollway garage got. And right down the road here on Fairview, and now they take in like 15,000 ton, like they take in an extremely large amount of salt. And our price and their price are usually right about the same, so and it's just a good little comparison, so.
Do you usually order the same tonnage every year?
No, I wish I said I could have a science to this, but it's been just my guess every year. And I kind of go with what I have I know what I have here from last year. And we're doing something different. So we store with an agreement with DeKalb Township that only uses approximately somewhere between 60 and 100 tons every year. So they help me out on road projects, hauling and that kind of stuff in the summer. And I store their salt. They always purchased it from the county, through the county, as a lot of the other townships. So I'd have to call the road commissioner, tell him I'm gonna order his salt, make sure he can pay for it. Then call the county, then they call whoever the people are that are, whoever got the contract, and then, I have to take it on. This year, what I'm doing is I'm gonna sell it to him per ton. And he's just gonna pay us to do it. So it keeps, because it's easier that way. Like I have one whole bay set aside for him right now. Once he's emptied that has already been purchased by them. So once that empties out, and it might be if we have a very mild winter that he doesn't purchase any from us. And then moving forward, he's just gonna purchase it per ton from us. And that way it helps him and it helps us. We don't have to designate one bin for him. And then he just pays us at the end of the fiscal year for what he's used. So, and then when you take this $78 a ton, I treat all our salt with a chemical. It's a byproduct of vodka and gin and food grade calcium, believe it or not, that lowers our freeze point. Salt, regular white salt that you'll see on the roads, has a freeze point of 16 below zero. This lowers it to 57 below. What it has done is taken what our salt usage, and we have cut back on our salt usage by 60%. We started this in about, I think, 2016.
Right about that.
And then so everybody's kind of spreading less salt, or we're one of the few that Sycamore Township does it and Afton Township. But we found that by cutting back our salt that much has really lowered plummeted our costs down. And that freeze point, by lowering that, like you can, I think if you remember last year, we had a really horrendous ice storm came in overnight. You could go down that road spreading, and by the time you turned around, that road was melted off. And with regular white salt, that's not the case. And on those kind of events, it's all you can do to just manage that truck down the road without, and probably because I drive too fast, but
How are you doing that?
you center on the road.
How are you like mixing it though? Like,
They come here with a machine,
oh, okay.
and then that cost is.
Get out there with a spoon.
I was like, what? I couldn't visualize it.
And like, you can order trucks with liquid containers on them that spray the salt at the auger and spinner at the back of the truck. That all has a lot of breakdown issues with them and stuff to that nature. So this company out of Dubuque, Iowa comes here and he sells the chemical and then blends it in a machine. And then we pull all our salt out, put it in his machine, and he runs it through. It takes us about a whole day, and then we put it back in the shed. And it never goes bad. Like I have one bin with it and then two that do not have it blended yet for this year. And then when we get into later into the winter or the spring months, like March and even towards the end of February, when we know the temperatures are going to get above freezing, as soon as the sun comes up, we will get away from that and go to regular white salt. We're just taking that morning freeze off the road, and if we have a horrifically windy winter, like they're calling for this year, we won't use salt. because it attracts the snow to the road, creates drifting. And actually can make the roads ice over quicker once the snow hits, so.
So this method allows you to use less salt. And the salt can be harmful to the environment.
Right, and this byproduct is the least abrasive to vehicles and the roadway and nature. So, because it's a food grade, it's actually was a chemist at a vodka and gin factory or whatever, distillery in Hungary that had a dairy farm behind them and their retention pond never froze. Is how they figured out this worked, so.
Does the city use it too? You said,
No,
or-
we have it's just the 3 townships that I'm aware of in DeKalb County.
No.
It's the initial cost is what, but we have found that we've actually saved money by doing it, over the years because it's lowered our salt quantities down.
Well, if it's less harsh on the roads,
And it's less
deteriorating,
abrasive, yes.
it's huge right there.
And is there leftover for like a Christmas party or something?
No, there isn't. So, I think for me, that's it, unless there's any questions.
No questions? Assessors report?
DeKalb Township's assessments were published October 3rd. The deadline to file with the Board of Review is November 2nd. We had an equalization factor, which is a percentage that gets applied to every parcel in the township of 9.51%. Part of that is the boom in the residential market from last 3 years. And as of this afternoon, speaking with the Chief County Assessment Officer, there has only been 7 appeals countywide.
Mm.
Filed as of yet.
Hmm.
So,
Procrastinators.
well, the attorneys should be contacting the township assessors, like I've been dealing with the attorneys for some parcels, and they contact me, we see what we can come up with, and if I can't do what they're looking for, that's when they go to.
And there's paperwork that they have to. file.
If you're filing with the county board, yes. Meet with me. Pick up the phone and give me a call.
Okay,
It's informal. I wanted. If I can justify helping them, I'm happy to do it. If I can't justify it, that's why the county board is there.
is that maybe something that we should put on one of our Facebook posts or something?
The Facebook's open to anybody that wants to make a post.
Yeah,
You just,
you know,
have to talk to
just what
them.
the process is and, yeah, just
Yeah.
good advice, to help out, the community, our county.
Yep.
Let them know what the process is. I think a lot of people are very uninformed.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
And use it for anything. Okay. Anything else?
That's it.
Okay. Trustees reports, trustee McLaughlin,
No report.
trustee Gakers,
No report.
trustee Brett, no report. Okay. All right, moving on then to bill paying. Can I get a motion to approve the September audit reports in the amount of $260,027.27 and the October bills to pay in the amount of $764,156.43.
A motion.
Second.
Discussion. October bills to pay are a little higher than usual, but that is because of a building payment or two. Any other? Okay, roll call, please.
Trustee Akers,
Yes.
trustee McLaughlin,
Yes.
trustee Bradlaugh. Yes. Supervisor Hess,
Yes.
motion passed.
Okay. Next, can I get a motion to receive, file, and approve the treasurer's September budget report?
A motion.
A second.
Discussion?
Excuse me.
Okay, roll call, please.
Supervisor Hess,
Yes.
trustee McLaughlin,
Yes.
trustee Bradlove,
Yes.
trustee Akers,
Yes.
motion passed.
Next, moving on, there's no unfinished business, so moving on to new business. We have, the tax levy for the township. Joan, could you pull up that? So, let's start. Can I get a motion to approve ordinance 2025-0022 T DeKalb Township levy?
Motion.
I'll second.
Okay. And so discussion, I'm just going to, with a couple of you being newer trustee or new trustees, thought I would put in some information about the tax levy. This was included in your board packets. So the next slide discusses property taxes, and for the township, that is our main source of income. We also get something called PPRT, which is personal property relief tax, replacement tax. And I think that is on a different slide. So all of our homeowners and all the property owners pay taxes. And all of our taxing districts, east in the tax bill, come up every year with a levy. So that's the amount of revenue that they're trying to receive, and then it goes through a calculation process based on the assessed values. So next slide. So what is a tax levy? That's the amount of dollars that each unit of government is asking for operation for the next fiscal year. And so for the township, we levy two separate funds. So we have an amount for general town funds, and that is the revenue that pays for costs for town and the assessors departments. And then we have another fund for general assistance. And our general assistance is restricted so that it can only be used for general assistance purposes. And then the road district has the three different funds.
Yeah, and so the road and bridge fund, otherwise, you'll hear it called the general road fund. And then the permanent road fund, which is very much restricted. That money can only go for anything on a road that is deemed a permanent road. So years ago, we passed an ordinance deeming all the roads under our control to be permanent roads. I think that's a very old school thing dating back. That's why we're 175 years old. And some of these that were horse and buggy paths were not permanent. They did, so but and then the equipment and building fund is somewhat restricted to where a building and equipment fund can only be used to purchase equipment or put up a structure or purchase a structure. It can't be used for like maintenance of any of that stuff or any other thing. So the road and bridge fund is a fund that is used like the town fund. It is the only difference is anything in the road and bridge fund gets shared with any municipality within your boundaries. At a percentage by how much of the township they take up. So for us, it's 50%. I share a small portion with Sycamore and then a very large portion of that with the city of DeKalb.
So you'll see on there, that second bullet there, that the taxing bodies ask for the levy of specific dollar amounts, not tax rates. So a lot of times with different taxing bodies, you'll hear them talk about what their tax rate is. We don't understand necessarily why some taxing bodies do that, because that's going to depend on what the equalized assessed value across the district is. And so, because you said the multiplier was 9 point something.
9.51%.
Yeah, that is going to have an
The tax
effect on the
rate.
tax rates. So, yeah, we talk about, you ask for what you need and, that's what
Dollar
your,
amounts.
yes, your levy is.
So is the multiplier this year higher or lower?
The equalization factor was lower this year than it was last year.
Okay.
Last year was 14.69%.
Oh,
The housing boom has been bad.
Hmm.
Well, depending on how you look at it.
You wanna sell, it's good.
Yeah.
And then the last bullet point is that it's imperative that taxing bodies get this levy done and approved and submitted. Otherwise, they won't receive any property tax dollars. So,
And for us, that would hurt.
yes. Next slide, please. So what is the assessment process? Just wanted to throw this in so that
oops. Just trying to make it bigger.
Members of the public, if they wanted to look at it, I did have Rich look at this and he said that
Yeah,
information is
it's
accurate.
very, very basic. We discover it, we appraise it, put a value on it. It's used for the tax rate purposes.
And so on your tax bill, you see that the assessed value is 30, well, it doesn't point out that it's 33.3.
It actually does say on the tax bill that assessments are 30
Okay,
and 33 and a third. But yeah, all assessments over time, they started at 100%, and as assessors may not have been close to that number, they slowly have gone down in percentage. So it was more reflective of what the assessments were, and it's been at 33 and a third for a very long time now.
next slide, please. So what is the property tax extension limiting law? You'll hear taxing bodies talk about PTEL. So in order to prevent property owners from their taxes getting completely crazy, in 1991, this law was put into effect. And it limits the annual tax extension increase to 5% or CPI, whichever is less. So you can ask for 105% over of last year's what you asked for. Or if CPI is less, and they just released CPI numbers to us in the last couple of weeks, then that would be what the max you can ask for. Now, if you want to go over 5%, there is a process, it's called the truth in taxation, where you have to, with a notice in paper, you have to hold a hearing, and at that hearing, explain why you're asking for more than PTEL, and then it can be voted on. But this is to try to curb increases. And, being on the school board in the past, I remember that the years that I was on school board, they always tried to go for the full 5%, just because you can. And so there are some taxing bodies that will go for that full 5% every year, and to keep their numbers growing, getting more revenue.
And I will say, I took over in 13, it was a rule of thumb. Like everybody did it, like it was drilled in your head from multiple layers of government that you just ask for 5% every year. Because, and because you keep adding every time, so I will say, when people complain, this part of it is that you take what you need, not just ask for the max and then decide how to spend this money. And I think that's where we've evolved to this point. And more conservative people, I put myself in that category as well as Mary and Rich, take what we need, not what,
Yeah. Because you'll hear the term that if you don't ask it for the full 5%, you're leaving money on the table.
Mhm.
So, yeah, that's. So, different taxing bodies are gonna start holding you'll start seeing on their agendas. So the extension process, happens, at the county clerk level. And so everyone's levy has to be turned into the county clerk by the last Tuesday in December. And then the calculations happen there. And then from there, the county treasurer presents or prepares the tax bills that get distributed to all of the households and businesses in the community. The county treasurer receives the property tax payments, and then we receive them in 5 or 6 different distribution payments. So it's imperative that we start the fiscal year with money left over from the last payout of property taxes, because our first payment doesn't come in until May. So, and they're not even amounts. Some months we receive much more than other months. So I don't really know how they,
I guess a percentage, just kind of what they take in.
Yeah.
They dish out, so.
So that's kind of the cycle of the property taxes. Next slide. So how is the tax rate calculated? So after the assessor has assessed all of the property, there is a equalized assessed value. So that's the value of all of the property in our case, it would be the township. And so the amount that we're asking for is divided by that total EAV, and that's how it comes up with the tax rate. And so then that tax rate is multiplied against the assessed value of your home.
Yes, after exemptions.
After exemptions, yes. So the next slide shows that, well, that's, yeah, what I went over, and that's where it shows the after exemptions. And then the next slide shows that a more simplified. So you have your assessed value, you subtract any exemptions, and then you multiply that by the tax rate, and that equals your tax bill. And then there's an example of a tax bill that, and then it shows all of the different taxing bodies, what their tax rate is, and then what you're paying to that specific taxing body. So I know that's super hard to see, but
I will take that home.
Yeah.
yeah. So a little bit of history of the levy for DeKalb Township.
Control.
Yeah. So I said we levy for 2 different funds. So that shows what the amount is that we asked for from 2018 to current. And so as you'll see, there are increases, decreases. Again, that's because it's based on need, not going for the max. We're able to, if at the end of the year, when we're getting prepared to do the levy, if we are seeing that our numbers are solid, we're able to decrease that levy a little bit. For general assistance, I think that in 2020, there was a expectation that because of COVID, there would be more of a need. That turned out not to be true, so we were able to decrease the levy, following those years. Our 2025 numbers are in the far right column. So because we have wrapped up the major paving project at Oakwood Cemetery, we have purchased 2 vehicles now. We're not gonna, have some of those costs that we've had in the past. So we're dropping the town levy by 5,000 and bringing up general assistance by 5,775, which is 2.75%. Again, the max is 2.9 because that's what CPI is. It may be that some funds have to be transferred from town to general assistance at some point. With the changes coming at a federal level where people may lose their Medicaid benefits, general assistance. Individuals we have who are enrolled in our general assistance program. General assistance, if a person doesn't have other insurance, is required to pay for some medical. So because of the Affordable Care Act, as long as I've been here, we haven't had to be concerned with that. We kind of don't know what to expect. And so we're going to just hope for the best with that, and that those subsidies will remain in place. Illinois also has expanded Medicaid, so that is helpful to us as long as Illinois continues to do that. So we are watching closely to see what's going to happen with that. So our total levy for the year is just going up $775 over the previous year. And obviously, because we don't know what the EAV is yet, that information hasn't been shared.
It won't be done until January.
We won't know what the tax rate is until that number is final. And then the next slide, please. You're on.
So, yeah, and you'll see, here that I can't say like Mary that, I mean, we've ever been able to really lower. I haven't done, so my levy won't come out until the November meeting. And although I've kept my rate has gone down with increase in new construction and property values. But that's kind of an average, and you know, I can't tell you that what my increases were. In a lot of those years, I know in the last few, I've been well under, I think last year was 2% of an increase. And that stems just from the higher fuel costs, higher equipment costs. My equipment costs have gone up around the lines of 30 to 40%. And I think with doing a lot more internally, we've purchased some other equipment that I think in the long term will save. So my goal is, and I just haven't had a chance to go through the numbers, that my dollar amount levy for 2025 will be, if any increase at all, equal to the dollar amount I brought in this year. The increase will not be significant at all. My goal is to be exactly the same dollar wise that I was last year.
And as you can see in both the township and the road district levy history, the tax rate, goes down, has gone down each year. And so the township southern border is Gurler. So the north side of Gurler belongs to DeKalb Township. The south side of Gurler belongs to Afton Township. So the development, in that southern region certainly has helped drive these tax rates down. We are not in Facebook land. We are, Amazon, and so Kraft will be coming on eventually and add to our EAV and which helps offset. So any questions about any of that?
Did anybody want to go back to a slide?
I don't think so, but the tax rate then, that is, so Craig, yours is 0.13686%. Another point, okay. That's not 13.6%.
Right.
Okay.
The highest tax rate always goes to the school district.
And I personally, I don't really watch the tax rate much. And because I work more on just dollars and cents, because I let the tax rate do itself. A lot of times when we're filing for our levy, it's it's mostly a projected number anyway. So it's really for me, it's really not good to even watch that. I mean, historical watch like this, yes, but I don't, because that true number doesn't come out until after I filed my levy in the road districts levy in December. So that's where I just try to go line item by line item in the last few years and just pick apart where I've laid or left too much money or not enough and kind of work that way, backwards. I find for myself, that's the easiest way to do it. And I let the rate set itself,
And that's the way it should be done, because if you, yes, the rate's been going down, but if you pay attention to the real estate market has been going up in that same time frame. Assessments go up, rate goes down, unless you have taxing bodies that are asking for high percentages.
Back to me.
And as Mary spoke about the black box, if you get a lot of taxing bodies of black box, that's what will drive your taxes through the roof. And that's what drives that rate, I mean, especially the larger ones that, and I don't know if I'd have enough eyeglasses to read that, but I think you'll see where we're all the way at the bottom, meaning that not all the way at the bottom, but are we even on there?
Yeah.
Meaning that we take such little money in compared to everybody, the schools, the county, the city, and rightfully so, they're bigger operations. This is not a slam to any of them. But I think if you follow rates and historical rates, we've always been right there at one of the lower portions of that, so.
And so while the rates may not, that's not something we're calculating, people are paying attention to that because that's what's on their tax bill.
And you'll get, we will get certain years we will get slammed for what our rate is. But what people don't understand is we don't have really access to that rate when we're filing that levy. So that's really kind of a misnomer that you can't, we don't have control of that.
Right.
Because we don't know. I mean, I'm gonna pick on the school district there, by far the largest taxing body. They play with, they can change that rate so fast compared to us, it's just astronomically. So, I mean,
Yeah.
even if we would both black box, you could still have a lower rate at the, where if the school district black boxes and we drop ours, you could have the rate go through the roof, so.
And it's worth noting that, if I'm not mistaken, on that tax bill, we are the only one not getting Facebook money. Everyone else's EAV includes that.
Yes, you are correct.
Yeah.
So to not be receiving that money and still have the lowest rate, it's kind of something.
And expand services. I mean, that's really the key, is to, be able to expand services. So I know we're kind of patting ourselves on the back, but I mean, that's what being conservative is, in my opinion, when you do try to do this kind of stuff.
So, if you go back to the slide with the township history and make it so it all fits. So those are the numbers on the far right-hand column that we're asking for, and that's in the ordinance that follows. That's what we did the motion and the second on. So any questions about our tax levy ordinance? And then Craig will come back next month with his.
And I won't have the pretty slideshow next.
Well, we've done it this year. You'll be fixed. The sum of $1,115,775 is what is being requested. So any discussion about that?
I just wanted to say that I think it's awesome that the little bit extra that we're gonna get is gonna go into general systems.
It's gonna be needed. All right, no other questions, roll call, please.
Okay. Trustee Akers, trustee McLaughlin,
Yes.
trustee Bradlaugh,
Yes.
and Supervisor Hess.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Next, can I get a motion to approve resolution 2025-009T supporting the Illinois America 250 commemoration?
First, second.
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay.
Discussion, so this resolution came to us from township officials of Illinois, asking us to adopt this resolution in preparation of America turning 250 next year, and encouraging townships to celebrate this milestone. And the city of DeKalb has already started meeting. They hosted a meeting about this, encouraging other taxing units and just whoever wants to in the community to do something to celebrate America's birthday. And so the discussion's already happening, planning is already happening. As a matter of fact, tomorrow there's the second meeting for this. So we will be doing some events next year, but this is the township, sees this as a way to spotlight some of the work that township's doing. So things that we're doing now to celebrate our 175th, we'll be able to carry into next year for the 250th. So that's what this resolution is for, showing that we're supporting this initiative. So any discussion on it? Okay, roll call, please.
Supervisor Hess,
Yes.
trustee Bredlow,
Yes.
trustee McLaughlin,
Yes.
and trustee Apron.
Yes.
Motion passed.
All right, can I get a motion to approve the minutes of the Board of Trustees meeting of September 16th, 2025?
So moved.
Any comments, discussion? Changes?
Were they too lengthy?
I didn't think so. There was a lot discussed. All right, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. One opposed or abstained? We have no old business, no executive sessions, so other business, our next regular Board of Trustees meeting is November 18th, 2025 at 6 p.m. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor of adjourning signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right, we are adjourned at 7:11.
Woo. Not bad.
And what time is next month? Are you hoping to get to the game?